So in this video, I'm gonna tell you what is the best overhead tripod. And I actually have 4 over here. One already just on display, this one over here. I actually did a full review on this one. I'm gonna explain why I don't like it. And these 2 new ones right here. So let's get into the review. Now, overhead tripods are essential for an efficient workflow when you want to quickly unbox something, maybe put a camera right here, and then you can get that sweet overhead A-roll without having to set up this big clunky tripod over here. Now, I do recommend to get a stable table. This one over here, I actually had to remove the side rails over here on this Ikea table, and it was quite a project, but that gave me a lot of room to, like, say, mount this one over here. You also want to choose one that is perfect for your setup. So you want maybe perhaps one that is bendable, you can move it around. This one isn't that great, we're gonna talk about that. And then you wanna be able to make sure that it covers the distance of your table and obviously hold the weight. That is one of the most important things. So I'm gonna talk about all 4 of these. And near the end of this video, I'm gonna give you my conclusion of which one is the best for what use case. So my first overhead setup was using this Glide Gear overhead extension pole. And this connects to any type of tripod that you want. So I can remove it just like that. That's the thing, is that it requires a tripod, and that's not something I really like. This tripod that I'm using right now is really bulky. I absolutely hate this tripod. It's just one of the worst tripods I've ever purchased because, I don't know, it just can easily fall apart and break and whatnot. And it was so annoying because obviously this is a tripod. It takes up so much space on the ground over here. You can extend it just like that. And for me to effectively use it, I would have to put it around here on this table over here and then balance it. I also have to use a counterbalance. Now the counterbalance was the most annoying thing ever. This counterbalance, I had to get some weights and stuff like that. This thing would slide out and then slam this thing and it would break off. It was just such a bad experience. I had to get one of these ones right here or this one right here. So overall, this is good in a situation where maybe you want to go all the way here, go in your living room and then do an overhead tripod over here. But if you have a table, you're much better off using the table tripods. So this has to be a very specific use case of why you would want to use this, because this one is super bulky. I absolutely hate it. Also, just balancing heavy cameras on it, even though it did work with really, really heavy cameras like my Sigma 24-70 with my Sony A7C. It was just very, very scary. So I don't recommend it. So this is the NEEWER TL253A MH022. So terrible naming convention over here. And this one was my second one that I purchased, and I really liked it because it was able to hold my Sony a6700 with a microphone. It was just shy of 1 kilogram. But if I wanted to mount my heavier camera, the one that I'm using right now, it would actually support it for a bit, but then this thing actually fell. What happened was that it was mounted on here and it just kind of bent. See that? Just bent like that and it just fell apart. That is extremely scary. So, smash a $1,000 lens or smash your camera. This thing just did not inspire confidence. Now I know they rate it at 0.9 kilos or just around 2 pounds, but I really wanted to mount heavier objects on it. So this was not the solution for me. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good build. I don't know why it's so difficult to mount. It's good. That's a little difficult. The actual base over here is quite good. It seems to hold a lot of weight. And then the mechanism here, you can bend it. And there's actually Allen keys over here. So you can it's kind of nice that you can have a lot of flexibility in that range. But the fact that it falls just like that, this is an instant no. So it's not very reliable. I think it's okay if you're going to be using really small things like a little camera or a little GoPro or something like that, but that kind of defeats the purpose of putting a mirrorless or DSLR camera. So yeah, I'm not sure about the build quality. It perhaps could be defective. So this one, not good for me. And I'm kind of worried about these friction joints over here, how long they will last. So this brings me to the VIJIM. This is a ULANZI spin-off company. This one is interesting because it doesn't have any bendy thing like this. It doesn't bend or anything like that. It's a very basic, just straight up and then 90-degree right angle extension pole. So let's set it up and see how much weight it holds, and I'll give you my verdict. Now, in terms of the weight, it doesn't say anything about how much it can support, what's the max capacity, which I found very confusing. But given that it doesn't have any bendiness to it, there's no bendiness, I suspect that it can hold more. The only downside is that because it doesn't bend anything, it might be harder to center the camera right in the middle of the overhead shot for your unboxing, whatever you're doing. Let's get this out of the way. Here's the main tripod. It's not as big and sturdy as the other one. So the newer version looked a lot more substantial. I mean, just look at that. that base clamp over there. It's unfortunate that the newer one doesn't have a very good extension arm, but I'm a little bit concerned of how small this one is, this ULANZI one, or VIJIM, whatever it's called. I'm not too worried about this because it's really the extension arm that I'm most concerned about. So let's mount it. Okay, this extends out very nicely. Goes quite high. This tubing doesn't feel very strong, not as strong as the other aluminum. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. Maybe I don't want to put it this high. I don't know if it's gonna bend the metal or whatnot. By the way, you get kind of a pointless phone case holder. I don't know why they supply these. These are so annoying. I guess that's what their target demographic was. Pretty basic. So yeah, this feels a lot cheaper. So it says that it holds 1 kilogram. So that's concerning. That's not good. Now, if I want to get this perfectly angled, I'm gonna have to adjust it based on this clamp over here. Now this one's a lot more inexpensive, and I'm hoping to just have this because I don't need that bendy arm. And the last one we're gonna test, the ULANZI, it's a heavy duty. It's supposed to hold 2 kilos, so double the weight of this. We'll see if I really need that. So yeah, if you want to customize it, you kind of have to put it in like this angle. And you might have to adjust this one, the base, so that if you want, let's say you want the center point to be right here. Well, in this case, I'm lucky that it's kind of near the center point, but it's a lot less flexible. The cool thing about this is that I don't think it's gonna bend off and fall because it's just a straight angle. It's good to put a little Archispus plate or a Falcom F38 plate. I think that really boosts a lot of efficiencies. You don't want to be screwing your camera on all the time. I don't know how sturdy this one's gonna be. And we're gonna have to do a wobble test for each one. I think this is pretty sturdy, to be honest. Okay, you can bend this quite nice. Yeah, I think that's pretty sturdy. I don't think it's gonna fall. So yeah, this is quite good. It actually works out perfectly because it's right in the center of my desk, right over here. If I just zoom in a bit, get rid of the side angle here. That's one of the things with the bendy arms is that you can have this thing over here kind of out of the frame, and then you can bend the camera towards the center of the frame. So that makes it a little bit more flexible. In this case, I have to zoom in just a bit. So yeah, for 30 bucks, I think it's pretty good. I wonder how much weight you can handle. Seems like, I feel like it could hold a lot of weight because it's just a static hold. There's no bend in the arm or anything like that. So I feel a little bit more confident using this one. Let's do shake test. Now when I'm unboxing, I'm not really shaking it too much. Maybe I'm just gonna be, let's say I'm pretending to unbox this. Pretty good so far. Ooh. There's a slight bend to it over here, but overall not bad for something really cheap, really basic, you know. You wanna quickly unbox something, just take this on, plop it onto your table, start filming, put on the lights, really easy. In fact, let's do a sample unboxing. This is the ULANZI heavy bendable arm extension pole thing, and this one's supposed to hold a lot more weight. Let's see if I can move this higher up. So it's a little bit better. So we get this ball mount joint here. Wow, this feels really heavy duty. I like that this is easier to lock in versus the newer one. So with the newer one, you use friction, and if you are starting to lose your friction or it's becoming too loose, you have to tighten with an Allen key. Whereas with this one, it is much easier to tighten. You can just squeeze the bolt. You can just tighten with your own hands and lock it in. So I think it's a lot more convenient. These two are the same price. So far, I obviously would think the ULANZI one's going to be better. Okay, we got the main base with a pretty substantial base clamp, as I can see over here. Yeah, that's a lot better than the other one. By the way, I love ULANZI. I mean, the Falcom series F38, they just have such great innovation. They build a lot of high quality stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is the extension tube. I hope it's long enough. That's one of my concerns, is that this may not be tall enough. And okay, that's a pretty simple box. All right, tighten that onto the base. I'm gonna put on the extension tube right away because I really need it. Ooh, quite nice metal. All right, and then, oh, this is nice. You just put it right on top like that. Oh, this feels way better. Let's see how high we can go. I'm gonna keep it at the same level though. I think I might have to keep this one. Like, holy shit, this feels substantial. I don't like that this is made of plastic, the knobs. I hope I don't put too much tension and break anything. I just feel like if I really ratchet that down, pull it down tight, it might break, but I don't want this to move. But this feels really solid already. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Camera here. Oh, and by the way, my plan is to use a camera with a mic. When I do the overhead shot, I'm gonna put this mic on, and basically it functions as a 2-in-1. It's going to be able to film me with an overhead shot. Yeah, I have a little magic arm on this microphone. I'm gonna bend it towards me, So this becomes a 2-in-1. I can record my voice with high quality and the mic is out of the shot. See the flexibility? You can move it around. That's nice. And then you can just lock it in, lock this one in. I feel like this might be a little, okay. I think it's wobbly. That's what I heard on the reviews, that this could potentially be quite wobbly. So we have 3 levels of customization. Okay, it doesn't move around a lot. Kind of wobbles a bit. If I move the table, let's say I'm doing an unboxing here, put this down, put it back up. I'm gonna zoom in just a bit. I think there's gonna be some natural wobble. See if I can top it. I mean, once it stops wobbling, I think it's pretty good. But yeah, I wonder if this holds my bigger camera. So let's find out. Okay, so I switched to my bigger camera. Let's see if it will hold it. Seems kind of scary, to be honest. This is not even a max weight. It doesn't have the heavy microphone on it. Okay, tighten that. Okay, not bad, not bad. I don't think it's gonna break or anything. I wonder if it's gonna shake a lot though. The heavier the weight, the more it's possibly gonna shake. If I just do this, move stuff around, move in, hold it like that, do my unboxing shot. Is it shaking a lot? Let me know in the comment section if you see it.
Unfortunately, the ULANZI 2kg overhead tabletop clamp is the shakiest of the bunch. Now here, I'm excessively shaking the table to illustrate my point, but normally this isn't realistic. What's more likely going to impact your filming is when you reach for your camera's lens to zoom in and out or make camera adjustments. You need to be very careful and make sure you kind of stop the shake before you proceed to filming after making an adjustment. If you can remotely control a powered zoom lens, which my lens isn't, that would be the most ideal when doing a lot of dynamic zoom in and outs with an overhead type of shot. Sadly, the ULANZI 2kg tabletop tripod is the one I must use due to my heavier camera equipment, so I'm going to have to live with this and make the best out of it.
So after having tested all these overhead tripods, which one do I think is the best for my use case? Well, since I plan to use a heavier camera, obviously the ULANZI 2kg max weight one is the best. I don't like that it shakes a little bit on the table because of how long and far it goes, but I feel like that one has given me the most confidence in using it with a heavier mirrorless camera. The second one, I would say, given its price and how simple it is, I would even get the VIJIM, whatever it's called, simple right angle, very basic type of overhead tripod. I like that one. The least two I don't like because they cost too much. The NEEWER one costs too much for what it is, and it doesn't hold enough, and I'm worried about the tension arms and how long they're not very practical because you have to have an Allen key with you and tightening them. I do think it's actually quite good if you do plan on using it strictly with the payload that it recommends, so 0.9 kilos and nothing more than that. I think it should do fine. Although I'm concerned that it can just basically twist off, which none of the other ones can do that. And my least favorite, although I will keep it because it's circumstantial, maybe you just can't simply mount this onto your table, is the Glide Gear 1, which in combination has to be used with a tripod. Very clunky, takes up a lot of space, and try to avoid that if you can. Using your table to make the most out of your filming studio, especially if you're like me and you don't have a permanent studio, is very convenient. So that's it for this video. I will leave links to all these different overhead tripods in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.